Restoration floor 2 is the down floor. Name this because there's a lot of down dog type position in there. So this one is all about kind of specifically looking at the hips and the shoulders. So it's the mobility through here and through here, whilst not so much through here. Okay, so we want to keep this relatively kind of neutral, if you will, so stable. So there's a lot of keeping the belly button tucked in tight and keeping the chest up throughout this. Again, there's a lot of the breath work in here, so there's nothing quite specific, but we're just trying to stay in control. So using kind of the tips we use throughout the restoration stuff, just working in that kind of quite an elongated outward breath, and keeping it nice and lengthy and relaxed. So again, it works in the same way as restoration floor 1, in which we will do 30 seconds of the first movement, and then 60 of the next, 90 of the next, and then 2 minutes of the final one. So there's just 4 in this. In each one there's kind of doubling up on movements as we move through, because they just go well together in a floor. So your first one is your forward bend. So on this, I want to try and think about your spine, that it can roll. So each individual kind of spin air on top of the other one is going to roll itself down. Okay, we start off from the head and the neck all the way through. This will give you more range as you float, because you're making more space within your body, and 2, it will teach you to control your spine. So we start off, nice deep breath in, breathing out, and back up. So as a good kind of rule of thumb here, as you're breathing out, you're going to roll down. As you're breathing in, you're going to roll yourself back up, and that gives you the strength. Feel free to hang for a couple of seconds whilst you're down at the bottom. If you cannot reach your toes, it does not matter, especially at this point. It's just where you get to, and then roll yourself back up. So it's very simple in that first one, just focusing and thinking through that spine. On your second one, you're going to add in an and walk out, so walking out with your hands, and an up dog. So you're going to drop your hips, keep your belly button tucked in, and push up through your upper body. So the range is coming through here mainly. On this section, it does matter if your hands can reach the floor, but if you cannot reach them with straight legs, then you will just bend your legs until you can reach the floor. So once again, so if you find that you have kind of weaker wrists, or not the strength to walk out, or just really not the range, you can actually do this to a heightened surface. So if you were to lean down to a table or a bench, or if you're onto your couch or anything like that, you could lean down to that and then step forward a couple of steps and then rock your hips into that. It just reduces the range, but it's still getting that movement as a starting point. Number 3 for this, so we take it to 90 seconds, is down dog plus a Spider-Man. So you've done the up dog, which is to drop the hips and look up. Now you're doing the down dog, which is to lift the hips and look through. On your down dog, you will first go into a straight leg as best you can. Don't worry about pushing it too far, just go to a nice position, and then you're going to bend the knees, which will put more emphasis through the shoulders. So you'll be hitting both the hips, the hamstrings, and then the shoulders in one movement. Your Spider-Man will be to take your foot as close up to your hand as possible. Now this may take a few steps, and that's okay. breathing in here, and then I'm going to breathe out. And then bend the knees. In that bended knee position, I'm going to rock forward and bring my right leg as far up as possible, like so. Okay, and then I can push back up and extend through there. If you wanted to take this further, you could drop the elbow and reach up as well. So that will be a progression on the movement. If you can't get your leg up there in one go, don't worry. Holding that plank position. Again, you could do this to a heightened surface, which will make it easier, and you take your foot up to the floor whilst your hands are slightly higher up. Or get your foot up, then you can walk your hands and just keep moving until you can get that foot as close up as possible. Okay, and then you're working in that area. From there, you'll go back and do the same on the opposite side, like so. And then walk yourself back in to that starting position. Next up on this, we'll be going leg under. So you've done your Spider-Man, and now you're going to pull the leg under as far as you can. So you're aiming for maybe the opposite hand on this one, and then you're going to sink your hips into a pigeon position, as it would be called in yoga. So once again, I'm going to drop that knee and drop the back knee into that position. You could, again, if you wanted to extend this, just drop as low down as you can. But for now, you can just stay in this position like so. And again, like so. And then you walk yourself back up and continue through that. So in these areas, there's a lot of holding your body weight, okay? So it does take a bit of time. It might take more rest in between you going through into the next section. At any point, like I say, you can use a heightened surface, which will always aid the movement. Or at any point, you can just stop and move yourself into position. It doesn't always have to flow. So for instance, the leg up, and then if we were to go the leg under and we couldn't quite get anywhere into that, I could just pop my knee down, get myself back, move into position, and then I'm into that position. Okay, right, so, and then back up and then back through in the same way. But remembering at all times, it doesn't really matter about the range too much. It could just be that your leg goes there and you could sit back from there. They're all starting points and they're all progressions. We all move in very different ways. So the more you try and the more you move in towards the opposite positions without really stressing the body, the better the body has as adapting to the movement, and you will progress quite quickly on this. So that is floor 2. Once again on this floor, once you get to that 2 minutes where you're doing the whole sequence, you can run through that 2 minutes as much as you want. So you could do 2 minutes, then a minute's rest, 2 minutes, and a minute's rest. As many times as you want, really, as many times as you have that time for. Taking the session from around about 10 to 15 minutes up to kind of 30 minutes long if you wanted to, okay, just to move through these floors.